the question is, can you recognize that trans women and women are different and not be a TERF?
What fucking question is that? Like, can I recognize that these
that's
two
the question.
colors of wood are different? They just learned what Snapchat is. And it's like, you don't know what's going on in this day and age. You don't understand the whole situation with, like, oh, fuck, what's her name? J.K. Rowling being called, like, a TERF or some shit? Like, you don't understand, like, the significance of, like, a lot of this shit going down. Okay?
Is she still in the news?
I think she got brought back up recently,
Oh my
and that's
God,
why they just,
why?
like, reminded me of it. But then I'm over here, like, I still have my Harry Potter wallet that I got for Christmas.
What did she say? I just heard that she said something
Oh,
that
I
they
don't-
said was anti-trans,
It
and they
was
attacked her.
something. It was something about, like, not being, like, a menstruating woman or something. You probably shouldn't comment on, you know, laws against, like, laws regarding, like, you know, female reproductive system, because you're not one of the females that has a reproductive system. It was like some shit like that, right?
Oh, she was saying that trans people shouldn't have a say in that.
Saying, like, the women's reproductive system fucking talks. Yeah, it was something like that, because it was just like trans women specifically. Or I thought that's what I thought it was about, at least. It's been a really long time since I, like, read or looked up anything regarding it.
We're
But I was,
about to
like,
do
reading it,
that
and I was just like,
shit.
yeah, okay, maybe that's not, like, you know, entirely wrong.
Criticized for
Yeah,
tweets
it
that
was
she
something
made
about
the
trans
trans
community,
community,
and it was something specific about, you know, trans women, people who menstruate. That was what she said.
On June 6, 2020, Rowling retweeted an op-ed piece to discuss people who menstruate, apparently taking issue with the fact that the story did not use the word women. People who menstruate, I'm sure there used to be a word for those people. Someone help me out. Woman. Oh, so she was trying to say, hey, those are women. People that menstruate are women.
Yeah.
Wow, we're really going in on the trans stuff today, huh?
This is some cancel material, honestly.
Listen,
I'm
already
probably lose, like,
gonna
at least
canceled.
one friend.
I'm riding it out.
Yeah, it's
They
fine.
can come.
I mean, I feel bad. Like, I'm not trying to talk shit about anything.
Let's see. Oh, here's some tweets. If sex isn't real, there's no same-sex attraction. If sex isn't real, the lived reality of women globally is erased. I know and love trans people, but erasing the concept of sex removes the ability to meaningfully discuss their lives. It isn't hate to speak the truth.
I mean, in that sentence right there, was she wrong though? Like,
the idea that women like me, we're just gonna read her tweets. The idea that women like me who've been empathetic, who knows?
Okay.
Let them come. I'm not making any money off this shit. We're riding this down. Come on.
You're not making any money off this? That sucks.
Listen, it's a long-term investment. The idea that women like me who've been empathetic to trans people for decades, feeling kinship because they're vulnerable in the same way as women, i.e. to male violence, hate in quotation marks trans people because they think sex is real and has lived consequences is a nonsense.
Yeah, it's nonsense.
I respect every trans person's right to live any way that feels authentic and comfortable to them. I'd march with you if you were discriminated against on the basis of being trans. At the same time, my life has been shaped by being female. I do not believe it's hateful to say so. I mean, what's wrong with that?
I am
just
not
as a general question.
seeing anything. So I can see what they would call as wrong, is because, like, well, if you're a female, does that mean I'm not a female even though I say I'm a female? And I think that's the only issue, is that they just don't feel validated enough. There are people out there in the world who read that and they go, I don't feel validated enough. And more so, actually, instead of there being people who don't feel validated enough, like men to female trans, it's probably more likely, and this is usually who it is, it's virtue signaling people are the ones who usually jump on shit like this, not actually, crazy concept. It's usually not even the people who are being, like, you know, potentially victimized or, like, talk shit upon or whatever. It's usually the virtue signaling people who go, this could be taken incorrectly, and I'm gonna take it incorrectly and say that you're a dick. And now I'm the good person for calling you out for being a dick. I'm an ally. Go me. Haha. That's the whole conversation. That's like half of this shit. Because she was very validating to trans people. She was like, hey, you know, I believe you have your struggles. I march with you. I support you, etc. me going, hey, women are the people that menstruate. That's not wrong. That's not like, there isn't a lie in that statement. Women are the people that menstruate, right? Like, that's not the words she used, but like, that's my verbiage for it, right? Like, people that menstruate equals woman. There's a word for that already. Technically, like, sex, biologically, you're a woman, right? Technically, there are other women who don't menstruate, right? There's are trans women. There's a prefix there that specify that you don't menstruate. Quite frankly, that's the biggest specification there, and the fact that you transitioned into being a woman. That's fine. But just women in general, we're considered people that menstruate in general. And then there's like a subcategory of people that don't. Trans women. That's fine. She seems to validate that in this whole like spiel here. She seems to show support to the, LGBTQ community. She seems to show that she actually gives a shit. She's not shitting on them. She's just pointing out how fucking ridiculous it is to ungenderize women into being just people who menstruate. Just to attempt to maybe not offend somebody, which you probably still gonna offend somebody by saying people who menstruate, because fuck you, I identify as a cat. Like, like you could go anywhere with this. You could really expand on this. I don't think she's turfing right now. Was that the term, right, for being like a someone who's against trans community?
Exclusionary radical feminist? Is that a TERF?
I think so. I think that's what a TERF is, right? Like, I don't think this is turfing. This is like, you wouldn't support trans people if you TERFed.
Well, the question is, can you recognize that trans women and women are different and not be a TERF?
What fucking question is that? Like, can I recognize that these two colors of wood are different? Can I acknowledge that these two colors of wood are different? This is like a plywood thing. This is a fucking desk.
But there are people out there that don't hear that, but there are people out there that hear that and say that is anti-trans. You saying that there's a difference between trans women and women, that's anti-trans. And now we have to cancel you. That's like
people saying they will never fuck a cis man.
Well, okay, back
a cisgendered man. There are people who go out there like, fuck cisgender men, but that's okay, because a cisgender man is a man who is, who was born a man, who believes he identifies with his body, and he's straight, and he doesn't want like the other things. And they're like, I won't fuck a cis man because they identify as a man. They are, they were born that way, etc. I'm not fucking that. There are people who won't fuck a cisgendered man, who are down, like, again, they're down to smash they're down to have sex with a trans woman. There are people in like the LGBTQ community who are not down to then have sex with a cisgendered male because it's too straight, it's too toxically masculine. How dare you be what you were born? Like, how dare you identify with the sex you were assigned at birth? There are people who are like that, and that's the same fucking concept, but it's okay. It's okay when you're, again, the smaller minority coming out and shitting on the majority. That's totally fine. Like, what they consider the majority.
But we recognize that this is a radical view, right?
It's bullshit, but it's becoming widely spread.
But that's what I'm saying.
And that's what I'm saying. It's such bullshit.
But if this is a radical view, and a lot of people recognize, okay, this is a part of the left that is radical, that believes this, and it's a small minority, why is the majority going along with it?
Nobody wants to be canceled, censored, etc. No one wants to be who these,
J.K. Rowling. I want to be J.K. Rowling. She's got so much money.
But she's
and
lost
how great is Harry
so
Potter?
much money. She has lost a huge following for these tweets right here.
But that doesn't feel anti-trans.
It's not
nothing
anti-trans.
That she said feels anti-trans. This tweet starts off with, I respect every trans person, and I know those are just words, but...
Well, and even her last tweet, like her initial tweet that fucked her over, the one where it was like, I wonder if there's a word for this, because she was making, like, it's a poke at the, like, you mean a woman? Like, come on, guys. You're trying so hard to be Angel episode 1 of Nicholas's podcast. I'm gonna step around every little thing possible. They tried so hard to step around saying women because they were afraid of offending people, because there are women who don't menstruate. Quite frankly, there are women who were born with those body parts already that don't menstruate anyway. they're still considered women. Those people who have, like, it's obviously very rare that you have, like, reproductive issues to that extent, obviously. But, like, you have, like, a severe reproductive issue anyway, they're not going, oh my god, this excludes me. They're going, yeah, no, that's, like, the basic definition. That's totally, that's fine for whatever. Like, we get what you're getting at. Like, we're not going to be offended that you're using a scientific thing for your article or whatever. Like, fine.